Got to get over here and mute the YouTube. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of I've Got a Bike. Get over here.
Awesome.
Hello, everybody. I am a loudmouth, it turns out.
Hello, everybody.
All right, on this, everybody. This is Russell, this is Dan, and this is Edward, and we're going to talk about this record tonight called Radio KAOS by Roger Waters. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great. How's everybody?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody. So, 1987, Roger Waters released a solo record called Radio KAOS, and he was already out of Pink Floyd. He was done with Pink Floyd. This may have been his second solo studio album.
Correct.
But it's one of those records that I guess we hear more about it now than we did when it was released. I did buy it new. Did anybody else buy it new?
I did when it first came out. I rushed down there and I told my brother when I brought it home, I'm excited about the new Roger Waters album. And all he ever would say is it good?
Is it good?
That's all he would ever say. And I said, yes, it's good. It's Roger Waters.
It is good. Yeah, it is good. And I remember it wasn't long after that there was the tour that was happening. Let's say hello to a few people here. Hey, right. There's Harry. Hello, Harry. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, Harry.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And of course, you are Prog Rock Tommy's Corner, which is Edward. Yeah. And then there's Michael Gwynn. Hello, Michael Gwynn. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Welcome, Michael.
Hey, Mike. Well. Yeah. And so, I remember buying it new and listening to it and thinking, I like this better than Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. So, not that I want to compare it to Pros and Cons. It's just that that's what was happening. It was so interesting to have heard that when it was released. Hello, Now Spinning TV. Now Spinning TV was the guest this morning on Coffee and Vinyl. It was very good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so there was a single. What was the first single, Dan?
Well, I think the first one was Radio Waves.
Radio Waves, yeah. And you actually have a copy of it on 7.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
I
promo copy too.
Ooh, awesome.
There you go.
and there was also so on the 7-inch stand, how many songs were on the 7?
So on Radio Waves on the promo there was just the one, but you get to Going to Live in LA is also the B-side on the regular issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there was a 12-inch single, and I couldn't find my 12-inch copy today. Dan, you got yours handy? Yeah.
Just a couple.
Just a couple? Yeah.
3.
And so that has the 7-inch version, and it has an extended version, and then on the other side it has another song.
Yeah, also Going to Live in LA.
Going to Live in LA.
For the promo version, which only has the Radio Waves LP and 7-inch version and no barcode. So
okay, yeah. Now there was an extended version of the 12-inch. They had an extended mix of the song Radio Waves.
They sure did. And
you
that one goes to. Oh, I got the wrong side showing, but that one is not going to tell me how long it is. Oh, 7 minutes.
7 minutes, yeah. And it is good. I enjoyed listening to that myself. So, you guys feel like that was the right single to release first from the album?
Yes,
Oh
I
yeah,
do.
definitely.
It has
In
great
a kinder,
potential to
fairer
be a pop
world,
hit.
it would have been a hit.
We have two people talking. Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Russell.
I was just going to say, in a kinder, fairer world, it would have been a big hit. It's a very good song.
Mm-hmm. It is a good song. Edward, you were saying? Oh boy, Edward, you were saying?
I was just going to say now, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody, but yes, it in my opinion, should have been a top 10 hit. It was just as good as other songs that were out at that time. It's just a good rock song.
It is a good rock song. Yeah.
That's cool. We talked over each other, and I'm sorry about that, but we absolutely agreed. So, that's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. But it was interesting. I when I first heard that song, I probably heard the single before I went out and bought the record. I think it was probably our radio station, WQDR, who was our album-oriented rock station at the time. And they probably played that song a couple weeks before the actual LP was available. And then I go out and I buy the LP, and I was like, whoa, they chose that one to play? Because when I think about some of the other songs that were on there. And yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, I was also still sad, and for me, that Roger and David and Nick and Richard weren't together. And it was still a sad time for me. And I couldn't help but think that this would have been the next and the next and the next Pink Floyd record. Why don't they just go back together and make it happen? And so,
True.
Yeah, we all wish that for so long, and we've kind of finally given up hope, especially now with Roger he kind of ends a lot of his new YouTube songs with some griping about not being on pinkfloyd.com and things like that. So, I mean, it just doesn't seem like I can get back together. But, for years, I kept hoping for that.
I guess for me, when I heard Amused to Death, I was like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then, of course, Pink Floyd, they were very successful on the road and doing that thing there. I wish that Radio KAOS was more received when it was released. But I do remember a couple years later not being able to see Roger Waters live, not being able to see Pros and Cons live, not being able to see K.A.O.S live. I got a cassette of a live show, and I've yet to hear a good copy or a good version of a live K.A.O.S. And maybe one day.
The Pros and Cons tour for North Carolina canceled, right? They sold tickets and then canceled it.
Yeah, it was in the summertime. I don't know which month, but I remember getting out to the Civic Center a couple hours before opening, just hopes of getting good tickets. And it's canceled. Didn't say it.
Oh man.
Maybe there was a dozen people there waiting, and everybody left. And that even happened with Gilmore.
Wow.
I think Gilmore started canceling some shows when Pros and Cons was maybe doing a little better at the box office than About Face. I think they were touring about the same time. And then I was like, well, can't one open for the other every other night or something like that? Yeah. I really was intrigued in the fact that K.A.O.S was yet another concept album. And it was really neat to follow the story of Billy. And I would listen to it, and I would listen to it, and I would listen to it, and I would try to figure out the lyrics and just follow everything. Yeah. Hey, Kemba, how are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, but it was really neat to spend a little more time and just trying to follow the story of Billy and how he was born here and then wanted to go to California, of course, Sunset Strip, and it was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still getting used to the album. Adam's request or suggestion, I started listening to it just last week, and I've probably listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times. And most concept albums, and especially Roger Waters stuff, it's pretty heavy, man. So I can imagine listening to it for like a couple more months before I'm like, okay, that's what that means. That's what this means. But that's why they're so cool. You buy an album like that, you could listen to it the rest of your life and still notice new stuff about it, or still interpret it in different ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just to follow the story, I text Dan last night and says, Dan, do you have K.A.O.S on CD? I can't find my copy. He says, let me check and see if I got 2. And then all I could find was that. I know I got the 12-inch somewhere, and I probably got a couple 7s, or at least 1 7 somewhere. I just wasn't able to put my hands on it. I even have it on cassette too somewhere. It's not here though. But yeah. And then I was listening to it a lot this week, but listening to it on YouTube, and it was really neat because I saw that little, 20-minute video, which I totally forgot about, and I would love to find a copy of that so I could pop it in the DVD player. And does anybody have a copy of that? Does anybody know if that was ever commercially released?
I don't think it was, and I don't remember too much about that video till you brought that up now.
Yeah, I've never seen a commercial.
Was it like a press kit video, or? I don't know. Never even heard of that.
I think I saw a fan pressing of a bunch of water stuff that had, I'm pretty sure it had that on there, and I'm trying to remember the title of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't pick it up. I didn't get a lot of fan pressing DVDs back in the day.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, folks, we're talking about the record from 1987, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd release called Radio KAOS. Yeah. And Dan pointed out, and I didn't realize it, but my hype sticker is a little different than some of the other ones I've seen over the years. Yeah. And then I forgot to make a note, but this is a French pressing, so that was kind of fun to discover that. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
But,
that's cool.
So if you Radio KAOS, you'll find the little video on YouTube. Yeah. I think it's really neat that Roger befriended this radio announcer, and it was long before K.A.O.S, and which led up to the fact that Roger was friends with this radio announcer. Then Roger reflected growing up and listening to radio, and he wrote a song. And then the next thing you know, bam, they're working together. And I understand that Roger and Jim are still friends even today.
That's what I read too.
Yeah, which is really
really cool.
Yeah.
If I may say something, I remember when I bought Radio KAOS, I had forgotten that he had the album before, the Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. And so his second solo album was the first one that I got of his. But every time I would play the radio or FM rock, they would play the new song Radio KAOS, and then later that day they would always play the song, I can't remember the name of it, but the one where he says, "Do you remember John and Yoko?" Which is from the
Pros and Cons. Yeah.
So that was really neat that the new song and the older song were still getting airplay on FM radio down here in Texas.
Wow, it is cool. I miss rock radio. I miss radio.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
real DJs.
Yeah,
me too.
Well, when I hear K.A.O.S, I hear a lot of Amused to Death in there, but with a different production. And
yeah, very, very different production, but yeah.
But I definitely hear some of that. I was just thinking about some of the other songs that were on there that are very memorable to me. I guess probably for me, my favorite song was "Who Needs Information."
Good song.
Mine too.
Oh, really?
Great song.
When we're living in constant fear, and I can't help but think about how You know, Roger
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
throw a political twist to anything, and he can throw this all over the screen when he's has performed in the last few years, and he can say this, and he put this image up there, and a lot of people are like, whether I like or dislike, I came to hear music, Roger. What's going on here? But Roger's really deep in that respect, and
Yes.
and some of the lyrics are very much pertaining to today.
Right.
I just want to speak out for a second. I thought that was weird when he toured not that long ago and people were complaining about him being too political. To me, that's like complaining that Madonna dances at one of her concerts or that Kiss has pyrotechnics and wears makeup. It's like it's Roger Waters ever since what, like Animals? That's what he's been doing. He's very political. He doesn't keep his mouth shut.
No, he doesn't. I was trying to think of it before Animals.
Clearly, they didn't listen to like any of those albums, any of his solo work.
Yeah, they just like the choruses, I guess.
We're going to hear another brick in the wall. When they get there, they're like, "Whoa, yeah." But, exactly. I really think "Who Needs Information" is probably my favorite song on that album. Probably.
Yeah, me too.
Song.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one
so far.
Who needs information?
Oh, nice.
Nice.
See, that
promo. That's awesome.
That would have been a
Very
great
good,
hit song. That would have been nice to hear that and Learning to Fly on the radio at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
If I may say something, my favorite part of the Who Needs Information is that part towards the end of the song where it's like Roger doing that thing about adding the world harmony kind of thing. Kind of reminds me of that song that's on Metal where you hear this native tribe, chanting or whatever towards in one of the Pink Floyd songs.
Yes.
Oh yeah, from
Does that make sense? Because I like to me that's his signature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's we're humans here. It's humans and we have rights and and that's what he's speaking. That's just one of his great significance to his songwriting and stuff like that. You can feel that and we relate to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And
So,
I hear
Kirk, I was thinking about your comment about Amused to Death and K.A.O.S being pretty similar, and it's been mulling in my head because I totally get what you're saying, but it seems like besides just the production that it's very 80s level production for K.A.O.S and Amused to Death being more back to traditional water style. K.A.O.S definitely sounds like a studio. It was recorded in a studio. You can almost feel the walls around it. Where Amused to Death, even when it has the same tones, it's very open and expansive. It really feels like you're almost outside listening to it, or in a giant concert hall instead of a recording studio.
Exactly. Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah. And even when I hear the song "The Tide Is Turning," I can't help but wonder if that was the last song that was recorded for the record, because it just sounds like it's got the best production of any song on there, and it sounds less 80s or less electronic drums and some of the studio.
I don't know if this information is wrong, but I had heard that was recorded a year or so before K.A.O.S came out.
Oh,
was it for a live?
That's probably why it sounds completely different, ambience and production wise. But I had heard that was at least recorded. I don't know if it came out as a single or anything, but sometime in early '86, and the rest of K.A.O.S was late '86, like October to December '86. So yeah, that's probably why it sounds so different.
Yeah, it was for Live Aid.
Well, the story I've heard many times, Dan, and I even heard it mentioned from Roger during an interview, was like he was at Live Aid, and while he was at Live Aid, he was just thinking, and he went home and almost immediately wrote that song.
Wow.
And The Tide Is Turning.
Well, it's
And,
definitely the most optimistic on the album.
Yeah.
True.
Like orders of magnitude.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I just think that one has a unique production quality that sets itself apart from the other songs. Absolutely, and I still would like to hear the demos from Radio KAOS if they exist, if they ever make their way and get into the hands of people like us who really appreciate that, and we really like that information.
Yeah, I was
That would be
thinking
awesome.
the other day when I was listening to it, he complains about the production of Radio KAOS, and I forget who co-produced with him, but of course he says it was that guy's fault more than his. But to me, Radio KAOS is something. Why doesn't he do a new version of it, like a stripped down version of it or something?
A sunset.
Yeah.
He's Roger Waters. He doesn't have trouble selling records or anything like that anymore. Imagine a nice
website.
2-record set on 180-gram vinyl of Radio KAOS 34 years later or whatever, and just done in a real natural live band kind of way.
That would be awesome. Sort of like John Lennon's Double Fantasy stripped.
Oh God!
Yeah.
That is so good. Have you heard that yet, Dan?
No, I've got the Let It Be Naked.
Yeah,
and that's all right. But
in comparison, I think Double Fantasy strip. I mean,
yeah,
Yes.
is much better than the difference between Let It Be and Let It Be Naked.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so what? He doesn't go and get a band, go in the studio, re-record it, but he's doing these quarantine songs. Why can't he choose a couple songs from during quarantine and do that with his bandmates, wherever they are? And let's hear The Tide Is Turning 2020. Let's hear any of the other songs on there, 2020. I think that would be really cool to see him record them again, even in a setting like that. And give it to us, Roger.
Yes.
I mean, Jim Ladd's still alive. He could do all the stuff he did. Could do the robot Billy voice with something. I mean, yeah, I think it's a decent idea.
Now, who did the robot Billy voice?
Wasn't that the Stephen Hawking
yes.
simulator?
Yes, yeah. And which he would later appear on a Pink Floyd record.
All right.
Yeah, which furthers my theory that there's nothing between David and Roger.
True.
Yeah, it's just that they're like, you work over here, I work over here, and we'll still be happy,
Right.
Yeah, that's just my theory. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Yeah.
Only they know, I guess.
Only they know. Absolutely. So what you guys think about when Roger was saying, I got the Bleeding Heart Band? It's not the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, but I have the Bleeding Heart Band. And there was a time that he was really pushing that. I remember hearing it on the radio, Roger Waters and the Bleeding Heart Band.
Yeah.
And I was like,
did the Bleeding Heart Band, I should know this, being the collector that I am, but did they have any solo albums outside of Roger Waters?
Because
didn't the E Street Band have a couple albums out without the boss?
I'm thinking, what about the Heartbreakers? Do they have a record?
Yeah, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I'm not sure they did, but wasn't the Heartbreakers just all his family anyway? More of a family band anyway.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And so, that's a good question there. And
I'm going to take a note of that, and I'm going to have to look that up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. I really thought the sound effects, the sound effects on there were typical of Roger Waters' Pink Floyd, and the fact that they were nice and clean and well layered and well used, and come in at the right time, go out at the right time. So, we're so used to hearing all sorts of things with the Pink Floyd, and so that was really neat for Roger to continue with that and to still have the quality of sound effects and things like that. I thought that was very, very neat.
What y'all's thoughts on the song "Me or Him" on the album? I love the effects on that song, and it almost sounds like a song that it could have fitted well on the final cut.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah, I can see that. Sometimes when a band releases a new record or an artist releases a new record, it's like, how many of these songs should have been on the other record before? But
right.
Or Final Cut's like the ultimate saying of that, because they're now releasing it where it's got "When the Tigers Broke Free" on it, which is from the wall. I never understood that.
That confused me. That when I have that new final cut and they put "When the Tigers Broke Free," I don't see the connection.
I don't get it
in a way.
Yeah,
it's just, that one has baffled me. Absolutely baffled me, and and it's a great song, but
yes,
why is it on a? But
let's say hello to Happy Hippie. Thanks for joining us tonight. I do have a bike. All right. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're discussing Roger Waters' solo record, Radio K.A.O.S. I was pointing to it behind me. I had it up there on the easel. I'm going to put it back here. There we go.
And there's the wall music from the film.
Go. I remember.
It's got "When the Tigers Broke Free" on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they even released it originally as a single from the film.
Right.
And then for some reason they go and put it on a different album. I guess they said, well, if we put it on the wall, either it wouldn't quite fit, like the CD or whatever wouldn't quite work or something. Or they said, well, everybody wants the wall to be the wall, but we all know it from the movie. It's in the movie.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah. Strange decision.
I mean, were they going to take that "What Shall We Do" song, buy a new guitar or whatever, and put that on the other album as well? It isn't on anything.
We bought many CDs in the 90s because it had a live track or it had a non-album track of a song that we already had. And maybe they were thinking the same thing there. Nice 45 there, Dan. Yeah, absolutely. So perhaps it was,
I was, again, just baffled when that showed up on Final Cut.
Me too.
And there's bonus tracks from Final Cut, like was it the Gunner's Dream Part 2 or the Hero's Return Part 2? That's a B-side on a single that isn't that they didn't put into the album.
Yeah.
That'll be on the next version of "Amused to Death." Is a bonus.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Honestly, I have still not heard "Amused to Death." I don't know why. I haven't heard that album yet.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
It's a strong album too.
I do have it on CD, and it's right over there, Edward. I listen to it a lot in the mornings when I'm packing to ship, and
I need to check it out.
It,
Here I come to add to my cart on eBay.
Analog Productions was earlier this year or late last year came out with an SACD version of it that sounds good, and it's worth, if you're gonna pick it up, pick that one up.
Ooh,
it's
awesome.
It's strong. They're supposed to come out with it on a half speed 45 RPM 12-inch version, but that's been in production for over 2 years now. It's supposed to come out. My wife bought it for me for Christmas 2 years ago, and it still hasn't come out.
Oh, wow.
And I contact the manufacturer every about 6 months. They're like, yeah, it's still coming out. We just and they pulled all the press stuff for it. You can't pre-order it anymore, but they're like, it's still coming out.
Oh, wow. That would be really cool.
Yeah. But the SACD did come out.
So when who needs information? Oh gosh, did I get it right? Let me notes. I'm sorry. Yeah, who needs information? Sorry. When that was released as a single, On the Turning Away was also released as a single. So they both were.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
And so I don't remember hearing them both on the radio. All I remember is Radio KAOS, radio waves. And I think it would have been great to hear On the Turning Away and Who's in the Information, in the same hour. I wouldn't have had a problem with that at all.
That would have been cool.
But I think On the Turning Away won. I think it was more popular and all, but sometimes when I sit back and I listen to Radio KAOS, I can't help but hear David Gilmour playing lead and putting his treatment on there.
True. I feel that way too. I could almost hear certain songs where I could just imagine him coming in with this nice blistering guitar work in it.
Yeah.
That would.
And even the treatments from Richard and even the treatments from Nick. I mean, I think it would have been a beautiful Pink Floyd record.
Right.
I really do. Yeah.
So you mentioned On the Turning Away, so I have to show this. This is.
Oh yeah.
But this is the Italian pressing. It's a test pressing.
Ooh,
pre-production. Black label, no label test pressing.
Ooh.
Oh wow, cool.
One of my rarest.
Hypnosis always did the best sleeves too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're one of my favorite. There's a couple albums I've bought just because they had a Hypnosis sleeve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was this a Hypnosis cover? Does anybody know?
Oh wow. I don't know.
I don't think it was.
I think it is. It's in a book I have of that Storm Thurgeson did in the mid '90s.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It might have just been credited to him and not Hypnosis. I don't know if they were around anymore by that time, but I do. I'm pretty sure he designed.
Sleeve designed by Kate Hepburn and Pierce Marchbank. Yeah. Well, it certainly has a really unique cover that definitely stands up there with Hypnosis, that's for sure.
Oh, Waters, I think he's quit having anything to do with any Pink Floyd people. Like no Bob Ezrin, no Storm Thurgeson, no whoever.
There were some musicians that were shared. Yeah. Dan, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. It's kind of similar to this
Yeah.
cover as well. Lots of lines. It's very different and similar at the same time.
Yeah. And
I
Ruffy,
do see the similarities.
you were saying earlier what this Morse code actually is.
Yeah, it's bits of song titles and some of the lyrics, and a lot of it is just chaos and Radio KAOS and stuff like that over and over again. I read there's a really good Wikipedia article on the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then what's that other website? Is it Brain Damage or anyway some crazy Pink Floyd website that it's got a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of information. Yeah.
Who needs information?
We need information. I'm sorry, Edward, you were saying?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, but I was just going to mention that one of my favorite saxophone players is on the album. What I read, Mel Collins,
Mel
a guy
Collins.
who played on the A lot of early King Crimson albums.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool. Then again, Dick Perry would have been great there, but smell. But you know, I wanted to be a Pink Floyd record so much. I want all the guys to be there, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But I remember the first time I picked up the Amused to Death CD. I was in college and I was there at the radio station, and I picked it up and I was like, I saw the image of the monkey and I was like, And so I think I remember playing it. I think I left it in the CD player as I walked away and went to class or went home or did something. But I was not a fan of that record at all when I first heard it. But today it's a different story.
Too many crickets.
Yeah, I could not. But K.A.O.S. I could. And, I wish we see more copies of it. I don't think there were that many pressed. I see. Oh gosh, I'll probably see 10-1. Momentary Lapse versus. Yeah, Momentary Lapse was a really good record. I never think about what it would be like if Roger was there. I never think that way, but I always think, what would it be like if the other guys were there for Roger's records? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Anything else you guys like to share about the K.A.O.S?
I'm glad you suggested it. It's been fun listening to it. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, but it's like I have this really good friend. His name is Eric. I won't dox him by mentioning his last name. When we met, it was kind of perfect. I loved early Sid and psychedelic up to like Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, and he was a big fan of all the later stuff and all the solo albums and stuff. So we both kind of shared, like, he got into the Sid stuff, I got into all the solo stuff and the later stuff, and it's a perfect friendship forged on King Crimson and Pink Floyd and Rush music.
Right, yeah. I
Right.
don't think I had any Pink Floyd friends when this stuff was coming out. I was pretty much my only person. I remember my cousin and I tried to go see Pros and Cons Live. We tried to go see K.A.O.S, and I guess it was probably the following spring he was killed in an automobile accident. So I had Pink Floyd friends, and so darn it, my Pink Floyd buddy died. So it was okay, but and then later on, you realize there's a million Pink Floyd fans out there you just never connected with, which was cool. Yeah, and Dan, you were telling me earlier your favorite song from the record.
So this is one of those albums, and I do this for several Floyd albums and Floyd related, where I kind of shift around, and you know, every time I listen to it, I get a different song stuck in my head. So I gotta go back to the text and look and see what song I actually said, because again, it changes around so much. I think it was Sunset Strip, maybe I said.
It was Sunset Strip.
Yeah, because that's the one I've been focusing on a lot lately. But again, like you said, there's so much. You get so deep into each song that I kind of will really pay attention to one song or two songs in an album more than the other songs, and then I'll really just kind of dissect them. You know, and it's my own interpretation, and I really try not to go looking up other people's interpretation. I love hearing it from like you guys. You know, that's great. I just try not to like just look on the internet. What does this song mean? Because you know, I want to come up with that myself. And I started that actually when in high school, when I first listened to the Final Cut. I actually sat down on my computer and typed out the lyrics as I listened to them, and I would listen to it over and over, just typing out the lyrics until I had all the lyrics typed out.
Oh.
And then I realized that my final copy of it had the damn liner notes in it.
Oh yeah, you open up the gatefold. I bet you still remember the lyrics by heart though after doing that.
Oh yeah,
I bet you can put it on and just sing away. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Even
I
the ones that
compared
are
my
wrong.
liner notes, and they were very close. In fact, I think sometimes liner notes had like what they were supposed to sing, but the album had what they actually sung. Yeah, so I did a similar thing with this. Back in the day, I was just studying everything. Except for I never really did that with The Tide is Turning. There are times where I really get into that song, but I've never really like studied it because it seems like it's so optimistic. I always feel like there can't be anything there. So I think I kind of need to do that. Study it, but that's the one song on there I really haven't thought much about.
Yeah. The tide is turning. I always think that when Roger recorded that, he was smiling.
Which is
the world is bad, but the tide is turning. Yeah.
I kind of like
when I think of when I think of Roger Waters, I can only think of San Tropez from Metal as like a totally upbeat song that he wrote. I can't think of any other that doesn't have some sort of hidden thing where he mentions his father's death or something like that in it.
Yeah. He has mentioned his father's death once or twice in a song. It feels like
Right.
The album Music from the Body, which is a soundtrack to the British TV show The Body, the last song on it is called "Give Birth to a Smile," and that is a super happy, almost bubbly song for Pink Floyd. And the whole band plays on it, even though it's a Waters single, or Waters and that other Ron Gibson, Gibson, something like that. It's not a strong album. it's because it's really just a soundtrack to a show. But
yes.
Anyway,
so I was telling Dan. I said, Dan, Roger just posted another video, and Dan's busy at work. And he hasn't heard it yet. And I texted him later. I said, I'm not going to tell you what I said, but I did say he did smile at the end of the video. So it was nice to see Roger smile. Another thing I noticed about K.A.O.S, and you guys have probably noticed this too, but it is a concept record. But do you think he borrowed a little bit from the Who?
Ooh.
You mean like the Who sell out?
Like Who? The Tommy? Tommy?
Okay.
Because Billy was also deaf, dumb, and blind.
That's right.
And remember that movie War Games, where that Matthew Broderick played this kid that hacked into all those computers and fooled people into thinking
War Games,
that the nuclear war was going to happen to?
That was a good movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Booger, thanks for joining us tonight. We're discussing Radio KAOS Water 1987. Please,
Adam, I would have to agree with you there. I think I see that what you're saying. That makes sense. That would make some sense that, the character is just like Tommy, and so it's like, what would you call that? Like not rehashing or redoing something, but redoing it in a different way or telling it a different way. Does that make sense?
It does, but it was interesting that how could this deaf, dumb, and blind kid named Billy pick up a telephone and communicate with that? And it's just interesting. Maybe it's too much that I'm reading into it or thought about it, but yeah.
I think one of the most powerful songs, well, they're all good songs, but this one really, when I hear this song, it just stays in my head, and the lyrics are real easy to remember, and that's that song, The Powers That Be. Very, very well done song.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that he's asking all these questions, like, it's like people telling us what to watch, what to do. It's the powers that be. It's just a really good song.
Yeah. Well, as much as I can talk about any one song, I think it's great that I listen to all of the songs as a way that hopefully Roger assembled and arranged these songs to be heard
Right.
in one sitting. And so, as much as I love vinyl, there's something about hitting go and listen to the whole thing on a CD player, or if you put it on your computer and listen to it as a
that is a plus.
Yeah.
Just think about Pink Floyd The Wall. I mean, hey, I wish I had one of those stackers I could just put record, and the whole thing play, which would be wonderful. But I do, but I've never done it. But anyway, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you got to buy 2 copies so you can have all 4 sides.
Yeah, good point.
Do you guys hear the siren?
No.
No. Okay, cool. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, great. Any words about this? I think we should do some Pink Floyd news. We talk about K.A.O.S.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if you guys ever read this, but I remember reading this about that Waters was working on a sequel to this album, but that didn't happen. And then next thing you know, here comes the album Amused to Death. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, that's news to me. That is news to me.
I don't know. I've never heard that, but one I've heard is that there was going to be an album called Spare Bricks that came out after The Wall.
Yeah.
And that was going to have like the stuff that was in the film that wasn't in the movie, and When the Tigers Broke Free and stuff like that. And that somehow turned into the final cut. And Adam mentioned them being very musically similar. Maybe Amused to Death started out as the sequel.
I remember
and somehow
that.
became its own thing.
Yeah. Wow.
I could see that.
Absolutely.
I could see Roger Waters just rewriting lyrics to death and coming up with a new concept, hating it, coming up with another one, and just really just like being meticulous with the concept itself and stuff.
And burn a cigarette to hear. Yeah. I like Pompeii too, Bluegrass Picker. That was when I watched that movie, I was like, I don't know if I ever want to listen to Pink Floyd again. But I did enjoy it. And then later I got the record and medal. So I made it. But then again, so also Bluegrass Picker, David Gilmour live at Pompeii. He revisits Pompeii. That was really good.
That's a strong concert.
Yeah.
I love in the movie when they do echoes.
Mm-hmm.
I did miss
awesome.
Yeah.
It
I
was
love
so great seeing how that was put together. I mean, hearing it's wonderful, and then it was wonderful to see the band doing working with it. They have that like tape looper that they're running, recording stuff on and looping through. It's just fantastic to see all that happening.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, I love David Gilmour sitting in the sand, wiping the guitar with his slide, doing the spaceship effects for Saucer Full of Secrets.
Yeah.
That's just something I don't think you would see Gilmour doing after a while, sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Just doing something like that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
We got Tommy Pubbins for $3 last week.
Nice.
Cool. Can't go wrong with Tommy, that's for sure. Echoes is my favorite early Ford. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's a wonderful song.
Yeah. A little bit of Pink Floyd information, current events, happenings. Roger Waters did a show Sunday night. It was free. I totally missed it. I had it on my calendar for Saturday night, and then Sunday night I had a sale. I had the VCLT sale, so I missed that. Anybody catch that on Sunday night, Newport?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't even know about it.
I went back and it was already gone, and I was hoping to find find it online or eBay, so maybe it'll show up sometime or another. Watching him create Dark Side, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. That was in Pompeii, yeah. Live at Leeds, can't go wrong. Does it have the hand signed signature contract in there? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Roger Waters been doing some quarantine songs with his band remotely. And I can't tell if Roger Waters is at home or if he goes to a special studio. But I look behind there and I try to look at everything in there and examine it. But he's got some good musicians he's working with. Those two singers, they're really good. They harmonize well together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Has anyone caught any of the quarantine series from Roger? As well as that Rolling Stone.
Honestly, I have not.
Good stuff. As well as that Rolling Stone interviewer says, he won't put me on the Pink Floyd website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he talks about that for about 15 minutes in that 8-minute interview.
I think that he was banned from the message board or something like that. The real Roger Waters wasn't even allowed to message people.
Oh gosh.
He's a singer-songwriter, internet troll.
Right. We got. So that's been good to watch Roger do that. And like I said last week, what does he have? 260,000 subs on YouTube, and Pink Floyd has like 8 million subs. Something's not right.
Right.
Marketing
he should have more. But Gilmore's pretty low too. So Gilmore's site is pretty low too. It's not as low as Waters, but it's pretty low. It's like 1.2 million or something like that.
Right. And then and so David Gilmore's spending a lot of time with his wife Polly and their family, and they've been doing some cool things there. Hey Gina, how are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, we've been talking about Radio KAOS, Roger Waters 1987. And so David sits around and it looks like they took the dining room and just made it into a theatrical set, and there's children and crying babies and children running around, and dogs. David, you get to see his children and Polly's children and David and Polly's children. And it's just really interesting. But the cool thing about that, David has been playing some Syd Barrett songs, and he talks a little bit about how they recorded some of those. Hello, Richard. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, Richard.
Pink Floyd, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd with his 1987 record, Radio KAOS. We've been talking about that. And so that's been happening with David Gilmour. And he's released a single, which, as I understand, kind of came from that. And so that's neat. Grab you something cold to drink. You're going to need it when you watch this stuff, folks. You know, you have to watch this much, and you get this much really good Pink Floyd stuff out of there. But I appreciate the fact that he's there with his family. And,
yeah, it's cool.
Well, it seems like they're all enjoying it. You know, it's great that they get to have fun and we get to get some entertainment out of it.
Right, absolutely. And he's got to be a wonderful sport, a wonderful father, grandfather, for that to happen. Nick Mason, what is he doing now? What is he doing?
With that,
are you familiar with the record? Are you familiar with this record, Richard? This is what we're talking about tonight. Radio KAOS by Pink Floyd. By Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. Are you familiar with this record right here, Richard? Yeah. And so, Saucerful obviously isn't touring now, so I'm not sure what Nick Mason is doing. Probably driving around one of his fancy cars, going really fast. Yeah. Or he's already learned how to fly. He's probably just flying around. And then Guy Pratt. Wonderful. Let's see what we got there.
Awesome.
Oh wow! I didn't even know that stuff made it on. I thought it was just
Laserdisc.
It's a Laserdisc.
That's awesome.
See, I didn't. That's what I thought, that it was just a home video. My Pink Floyd friend was so into him, he bought the VHS just to hear the music.
Me too. And then years later, I bought the Laserdisc, and
there you go. And
our Laserdisc player. So I could record it.
Did you say you got a Laserdisc player, or you need one?
I borrowed Mike's.
Okay, good.
And, so that way I could at least listen to it, and it's recycled material, but done differently. It's good. It's worth it.
Guy Pratt's been doing a lot of quarantine videos, not only playing Pink Floyd stuff, and he'll show you how he plays those. Shows you how he plays some of those songs and talks about what live recordings that were released that he was on and which ones he was not on. But it's interesting to hear how Pink Floyd chopped up a lot of those live things before they actually went on there. Richard says, I'm not familiar with that one, and I didn't really pay attention to Roger's solo career. Oh, well, step back. We're telling you all about it. It's been awesome.
Just to prove that I do own vinyl, here's my copy of More. It's the Striped Tower label.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Love another underrated album, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
More is very underrated, I think.
Yeah, my favorite tune on there is Quicksilver. I love that track.
I surprisingly, I like the Nile song a lot. It's different. I love it.
That's almost like a heavy metal song. That's heavier than metal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes. The Nile song is real hard rock there.
Yeah, it's just so out of their element, but they do it so well.
Absolutely. Not only has Guy Pratt play some of the Pink Floyd songs, and he talks about how he played this and how he played that, and he also has been playing. He did a very popular Madonna song. He did the bass line for that song, and he did some stuff with the Smiths, and he was also in a band called Ice House. So he's been doing a lot of cool things on his channel during the quarantine. Who else is left? David. Yeah. Anything you guys can add? Any happenings, current events with the Pink Floyd now?
No, not really, to be honest. I do follow David Gilmour on Instagram, so and I've been enjoying, even like I said, where he's playing with the family, and I even noticed that John Fogerty does that with his family. Like some of his kids, he does some. They're on YouTube where they're playing CCR songs, but not to take away from the Roger Waters. But I was like, whoa! I didn't know that his children like playing his songs that he wrote.
It's funny in a way, and I don't even want to say it, folks, but if we didn't have quarantine, if we didn't have COVID-19, we probably would have never seen these bands do things so remotely and come together, and we probably would have never seen so many people that have so much time on their hands that they can just do something completely different with their YouTube channel and just do things differently on a social networking basis. And so,
and I love the fact that they're especially like for Gilmore, just trying different stuff and just kind of doing different stuff. And of course, Waters coming up with all these. It's almost like he's writing a song and then just putting it out there.
Right.
I just love that. It's getting to see into an area where normally that would go through many iterations and reprocessing and reinventing, and then we'd see the final product instead of the sort of beginning product.
Right.
It's fun. I love it. It is a very positive way to look at this horrible time we're in. So, good observation, Kirk. Really good.
And I think the next Roger Waters record is going to have some content about John Prine. He was, as I understand, a good friend with John Prine, and Roger was sad that John Prine died. Yeah.
Oh wow.
One thing I forgot to mention about K.A.O.S. I think there was a time, help me here, folks, that Roger was actually living in L.A. And I think that's one of the reasons that perhaps there was so much California.
That would make sense. California
influence on that one record, and maybe he was talking about living in London, and Billy's going to move to Manchester or something, but now he's moving, to there. Let's say hello to Kent. Hello, Kent. Thank you from boarding to content.
Okay.
Yeah. From boredom to content. All right. I think that is a positive comment. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. yeah, so we did it, folks. We talked about it. Anything else you want to share, please do. Let's think forward if you guys would like to join me next week. If there's a certain word or subject or years or something we could, think about and work on during the week and do our homework and listen and make the notes and possibly come up with another opportunity to get together and talk a little bit about a certain part of Pink Floyd. That's
like Russell was showing that More album, saying that it was underrated. I totally agree. I also would say that Obscured by Clouds is
It's one
Yeah, I love both of those. I'm such a big.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think if you like Dark Side of the Moon, why wouldn't you like Obscured by Clouds? It's almost like a predecessor to it, you know?
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you were to ask people to write down every Pink Floyd album, they'd be like, The Wall.
Money. Oh, wait.
Money,
Another Brick in the Wall.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
A brick on the wall and on
money, and we don't need no education.
They would have a hard time writing down Obscured by Clouds. Yeah.
That's true.
And even as much as I love the Floyd, I would have to say, oh yeah, don't forget Obscured by Clouds. But
One of the nice things about that is, like, there have been plenty of bands I've gotten into. Like, I love an album. I go listen to the other big album that they had. It's great too. And then I get into another album. It's like, all right. And then another album, like, all right. With Pink Floyd, it really, every album is solid. There isn't a single one I don't listen to on a regular basis.
Totally agree with you on that. Yes.
Absolutely. I don't know. There's some that I listen to way more.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Way more. And
well, More is a good album.
More is a great album. And I could show my VHS tapes over here in the drawer. You remember you gave me those, Dan?
Yeah.
What's the one with the coins? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys, have either y'all ever seen any of those movies, like the one from More or the obscure movie La Valley? Have y'all ever seen those movies? I've never have.
Yeah, I watched it. I gave Kirk my VHS cassettes when I upgraded to DVDs, and now I've got the early years box set, and now I've got those movies on Blu-ray and remastered, and they're really
nice.
Nice.
More is not a cinematic masterpiece, but the music in it's really great,
right?
And it's worth seeing for that. And the Valley, just I love that. Just I could close my eyes during the movie. It's so good though.
Need to get those. Yeah.
There's another one that I guess has been bootlegged, but it was called The Committee. They did the soundtrack too.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
I'd love to hear that stuff.
They only did part. That one's a real tough one to get through. That one, that's a tough one. It's a little weird. But yeah.
As the wind blows.
What's that?
As the wind blows.
When the wind blows.
When the wind blows.
Yeah. That one. And of course, that's got other. Well, there's a Jerry Garcia song plays on that.
Oh wow!
As well, yeah. Isn't there like a police song on there too? There's some, but that's a pretty obscure one. I've never seen that movie though. I've just heard the soundtrack.
I have. It brings wonderful awareness.
Yeah.
It's just not sad.
Yeah, it's a rough ending.
It is really sad, but yeah. Oh, it's real. Can't think about it. Yeah. So, any suggestions? Our homework for next week: records, movies.
Well,
Pink, something Pink Floyd related, or just
I can always talk about Pink Floyd stuff all day long.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Grateful Dead, or
Oh,
yeah,
Pink
same
Floyd.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about Wet Dream?
Oh,
Ooh.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Love that record. Yes.
Wet Dream. Yeah. Yeah.
What I am not as familiar with as I should be. I mean, I've got it, on vinyl and CD, but I'll have to listen to that to get to know it a little better.
Well, we got a week to listen to it, folks. And anyone who's listening, or if you're watching the replay, we're going to talk about Wet Dream. So if you guys would like to join me next week, please do. But we're going to
the other Richard White album, China.
Broken China?
Broken China, yeah. Broken China, yeah.
Yeah, so next week we're going to talk about Wet Dream, a solo record from Richard Wright. And
Awesome.
Which I love that. I love that record a lot. I really do.
And everybody, it's on YouTube if you can't find it anywhere else. Wet Dream is available to listen to for free on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've been listening to it. I'm still looking for a copy of it on vinyl for under $30, but I haven't had any luck yet.
Absolutely.
Try and find the rare non-promo copy of it. There seem to be.
I've noticed now that a lot of times promo copies aren't worth as much as regular press. I guess
they gave away a lot of promos, and then not many people.
Yeah.
So, like when you find it,
that's what I was thinking. There was more promo copies than people actually buying them, so that's why the promo is the easiest or least expensive option.
Yeah.
I got a Beach Boys album like that. The promo copy was like $5.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nice.
Had the time stamp on the sticker on it, white label, all that stuff. They wanted like nothing for it. I got it in a lot of 3 records.
That's cool.
I spent a whopping $15 on.
Absolutely, yeah. So Wet Dream, Richard Wright, one of my I love that record. I love it, love it, love it. I do have a digital copy of it, but I don't think I have a CD. Was that ever pressed on CD?
I think so.
Yeah, I've got a CD.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to track me one down, but what I really want to do is track it down on mini disc. But
wow,
even with mini disc,
that's pretty cool.
Was it released on mini disc?
Probably not, but even when mini discs were new, the wall was probably $40, and
was it? Yeah,
wow, $240. But anyway,
yeah, I like I look for stuff on DCC and that as well, and it's just so expensive, and I can't play them, so it'd just be a collector thing. So
absolutely,
I do have Dark Side of the Moon on the PSP format.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I found that for $3 up in Richmond last year, and I'm like, yeah, I got to buy this.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. Kent's got a comment that's coming over. Give it a couple minutes. Kent. A little bit of lag going here, folks, but it's okay. Kent was saying yes, it's on CD. Yeah, very good. I might have to track me one down. Yeah. But anyway, hey, I want to thank you guys for hanging out, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thank everybody who's watching the replay and cool things like that. And thanks, Roger. I appreciate you watching it.
Nice meeting everyone. Thanks everyone for watching, and I love talking about music. So anytime.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
nice meeting you guys. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Rock and roll. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Dan. Good night.